was deliberately left by Mike, because in his eyes Jeff's body was the proof, and at the same time after some searching, Jeff actually found out where the note came from, and followed the clues to find Mike. Mike wasn't the least bit surprised by his visit, and even asked right away if he'd ever suffered any injuries or illnesses. Seeing this, Jeff honestly told him the truth, but Mike wasn't satisfied with this answer. He wanted all the records of Jeff's health from the day he was born. At this moment Jeff's son took over the conversation, telling Mike that his father had just been in an accident recently, and had even given up his dream of being an athlete because of it. Upon hearing this, Mike instantly felt a sense of despair, because this meant his inference was wrong. Having no other choice, Mike had to tell the truth, saying that he'd been weak and sickly since he was born. Fortunately, with the company of comic books, he'd managed to get through it, and over the years as time went by, Mike had gained more insights into the comics he'd read. He thought someone was using comics to pass on civilization, so drawing was a sacred and solemn thing, even if it was just comic book art. So from Mike's perspective, if God had created him with such a fragile constitution, then there must also be people with much stronger constitutions. No matter what hardships they went through, they'd still be alive and kicking like nothing had happened.
If there is someone like me in the world, and I am at one end of the spectrum, couldn't there be someone else, the opposite of me at the other end? Someone who doesn't get sick, who doesn't get hurt like the rest of us. And he probably doesn't even know it.
Mike's analysis was perfectly logical, but Jeff only thought he was talking nonsense. He was clearly just an ordinary person, living an extremely plain life. How could he possibly be related to a superhero? He was convinced the other man was just spouting nonsense, so he resolutely stood up and walked out the door. But sometimes people are like this. The more you pretend not to care about something, the more it lingers in your mind. He remembered what his son had said about him getting injured during the day. He immediately pulled out the old reports about his supposed injury, but in reality he hadn't gotten hurt at all when he was an athlete back then. It was just a car accident where all his teammates were seriously injured. His son had lied just to test him. The next day, Jeff went to work as usual, but unexpectedly ran into Mike again at the office. But unlike yesterday, he wasn't unfriendly at all. Instead, he showed a strong interest in Mike, and even wanted to figure out everything about this whole thing. Suddenly a thought popped into Jeff's mind. He felt there was a dangerous person in the crowd, who was wearing camouflage clothes, so he immediately told the other security guards to tighten security. And as it turned out, Jeff's hunch was exactly right. When the suspect saw that things weren't going well, he immediately used a cough to cover up his escape. Seeing this, Mike felt incredible, and quickly asked Jeff what was going on. Unfortunately, Jeff had no clue either. He only knew that the man's gun was probably silver. Having no other choice, Mike had to change the subject, asking him if this kind of situation happened frequently. If he got an affirmative answer, it would mean Jeff was definitely a superhero. But before Jeff could open his mouth, he was called away to work, so Mike had to give up for the time being. But he still wanted to verify Jeff's prediction in his heart, so he planned to follow that suspect. But unexpectedly, the man noticed he was being followed, and immediately sped up into an underground passage. This put Mike in a difficult spot, because with his physical condition, it would be hard for him to get down such a long flight